Yellow, Derived Energy here. First of all, I'd like to thank the 7 people who have subscribed to my channel, especially to Anti-Bullshit Man and The Morbid Atheist. I think you both produce some very interesting, thought-provoking, intelligent, articulate videos, and I have to single out the Morbid Atheist here because you've only produced like about 14 videos or so, but each one of them is like a polished gem. You obviously put a great deal amount of effort and spend some considerable time constructing these videos, and it's almost like you're my spiritual doppelganger in some ways. It's a bit eerie. Well, anyway, moving on to this video. It's titled PolyAnna Rejects the Assymetry, and PolyAnnaism is, I'm sure you know, is a tendency to view life and things through rose-specked glasses, rose-tinted glasses. And the asymmetry in the title refers to the asymmetry that I've already talked about in my previous antinatalist videos. So this video, basically, I thought it'd be interesting to deconstruct this review that was made on the internet regarding David Bennett's book Better Never to Have Been, The Harm of Coming into Existence, and it's written by a lady by the name of Jean Cassez, and I just read this and I just thought, it'd be really cool to make a video about this because, I'm going to tear this woman's arguments to shreds, and this is what I'm going to do. So without further ado, she starts her review by talking about suicide, and she describes suicide as, she says, it can be, and I quote here, a drag to bow out. A drag. Now, I don't know about you, but personally, when I think about something like being a drag, I think of, I don't know, something like bumping into your ex-girlfriend in an uncomfortable situation, or going to a cinema or a movie theatre to watch a film and the film already being 10 minutes in. That's a drag, but suicide is most assuredly not a drag. I mean, I've got a photo here depicting the aftermath of a suicide. You can see the gun there in the corner. Now, is this a drag? She says, and I quote again, a bullet in the head can be unpleasant. Yes, that's unpleasant, I think, yes. I think one of the reasons pro-natalists try to undersell this idea of committing suicide is because it makes their own pro-natal arguments more defensible, because then they can argue, well, if life is, so unpleasant, why do such a tiny fraction of the human population ever contemplate suicide, let alone actually follow through with it? But, as the photo shows, it's a very traumatic thing to put yourself through, and just labelling it unpleasant is neither here nor there. I mean, she also says that killing yourself can be bad for those around you as well. But this is a photo of some people mourning somebody who died. It can be bad. I mean, it's just an offhand way of talking about some extremely horrific, tremendous suffering. Okay, so that's the first point of a review that I wanted to address. The second part is, I'm going to quote again here. She says, imagine a child named Charlie who is a very happy boy with occasional miserable moments like anyone else. A very happy boy with occasional miserable moments like anyone else. What the heck? I mean, does she live in La La Land? Does she live in the Teletubbies land? Or something like that? I don't know. I think in order for her to, I need to ram these photos down her throat, really. You know, here are some starving children, you know. I mean, would you describe this as an occasional miserable moment? You know, judging by their skeletal frames, they've been having an awful lot of miserable moments, wouldn't you say? This is an infamous photo that was taken during the Vietnam War. The horror in these children's faces is just unbelievable. Okay, here's a son whose mother's dying. It's a very emotive scene there. And here's a poor homeless child in Eastern Europe, I think, probably, judging by or Russia, judging by the language that is written there. So, yes, occasional miserable moments. Right, okay, anyway. Third point that I want to make about a review. She incites us to imagine a couple with a child named Charlie. No, sorry, I've been there. Yeah, she goes on, she talks about this happy boy with occasional miserable moments, and then she says, you know, it's a fragile basis to stop this whole business of human existence. You know, are these things a fragile basis to stop something? I don't think they are. I don't think they are at all. Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just strange or something. Right. Okay, she goes on, she says, and I quote again, "Let me see if I can overcome my pronatal bias and look at the argument objectively." I just laughed when I read that, because she's described suicide as being, you know, a drag to bow out. She said a bullet to the head can be, you know, can be unpleasant, you know, and then she's just describes Charlie, who has occasional miserable moments and who is a very happy boy, like anyone else. And now she's saying that she's going to, you know, be objective about this debate. But I think it's all too late for that, I'm afraid. Right. She says the whole argument is a now you see it, now you don't quality. Now, when I read that, I just thought, you know, that's kind of like the hallmark of denial and repression. You know, it's kind of the argument's beginning to serve. It's beginning to what's the word? Drift, rise into a conscious mind, and then she's repressing it and she's denying it. You know, that's a subjective call there. I'm not a qualified psychologist, although I do have a degree in psychology. But that was my first impression when I read that. She goes on again. "Here's a train of thought a migraine sufferer could have. I really hate these headaches. I wish I had never been born. But no, of course I don't really, because all the happiness in my life outweighs the headaches." Now, a headache, again, is this the worst possible suffering that she can conceive of? A headache? You know, this is definitely La La Land, you know. I mean, if we lived in a La La Land, Teletubby Land or wherever, and the worst harm that ever came to someone was they suffered an occasional headache, then, you know, in line with Benatar, you know, you could still argue that they've been harmed by being brought into existence, but the harm that they would have been exposed to would be relatively negligible, I imagine, you know, just a headache, and it might come across as being a bit churlish to encourage people to discontinue the human race, you know, because of some headaches. But of course, we live in a world much worse than people occasionally suffering the odd headache. I mean, just another example here. This is what, if you get bitten by a Malay pit bull viper, will do to your arm. It helps clarify the mind somewhat. I'm going to make 2 videos because I'm up to 9.5 minutes, but stay tuned for my second video.